So I hope you guys are doing well. It's good to see everybody. I
Yeah.
know there's always a fun little chat I look forward to. I like to take the stuff back, implement it in my life, and so in some ways it's I've been pretty good. Other ways I've not been pretty good. But it's good to see everyone. I'm excited to have you guys on and to continue our conversations and just keep the ball rolling. So um, you know, I'm curious to know, and I'm sure Pam and Taylor will ask it, how last week went, how you guys like that recipe, and things of that nature. But do you guys have a good week, productive week for everybody?
Yes.
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 Does anybody have a highlight of the week they'd like to share? I feel like I'd like to hear that. Any highlights?
Tony came home, so that's what the highlight of it.
I didn't have a great week.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Well, I hope this upcoming week treats you better. I'm gonna hope for that.
That's it.
But yeah, ups and downs. But no, I'm appreciative of you guys hopping on tonight. She's not on quite yet. Here in a little bit, fingers crossed, Miss Rhonda, who's been doing our exercise component with us, will hop on. But Pam and Taylor, I don't see her on just yet. I think my phone just went off, so I'll take a look at it. But that being said, I'd like to toss it over to you guys and to get this thing rolling, and we'll kind of roll with the punches this
Want to
season.
get back?
Okay, well, until she jumps on, I guess we'll go ahead and get started with the nutrition portion.
Okay.
So if you guys want to go ahead and grab your binders for the time being, if you have those. I see a Rhonda on. Did you say Rhonda?
Rhonda Mitchell might be.
Yeah, that's Rhonda Mitchell. This is Rhonda.
She's just not on.
Yeah, that's Rhonda Mitchell. I'm not the exercise guru.
Still learning names. Are you sure you don't want to be tonight?
No.
All right. Okay.
We would be in relax mode.
I don't blame you. It's not my forte. All right. So, okay, we finished off last week talking about creating safe havens. You guys remember that? Safe havens when it comes to our obstacle foods. Our foods are hurdles or problems for us. Well, I guess we could do it by not ahead, but did you guys get a chance to kind of maybe identify some of those foods that you feel like you struggle with? Maybe it was some
Honey bun.
honey buns.
Sodas.
Chip and diet.
Did it make you guys think more about it, or were you just like, oh?
Thought about
Like when I make it a point to focus on foods, because I know it's so easy to just drink a soda or whatever it is, not think about it. It's that mindlessness going on. So that's one thing we really want to encourage is that mindfulness when we are eating, whatever we're eating, or we're thinking about those things. So are there any, I know we talked about the safe havens. Does anybody want to share something that maybe they, on that check, on page 78, we had that checklist. And so we had at home or at work. Where do you guys feel like you noticed?
Try to not eat when you're watching TV.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true. Pam and I actually just talked about that the other day, and I think that's one that we easily can do. And I'm not gonna lie, I've done that before. I do that every once in a while, but and it doesn't mean that you can't ever, but it's important to try to make it a point to really focus on what you're eating and what's in front of you versus what can happen if we tend to eat more often in front of the TV. What tends to happen more often?
Check to have water bottles around the house and in the fridge.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
We overeat a lot though when we eat. We have distractions, and that doesn't even could be our phones too. Phones are easiest to really get distracted by.
Like Taylor, I think we talked about if we, how many of you eat out of the container, like a bag of chips?
Yeah.
And does anybody ever go to the store and want to get like the family size chips because it's less expensive, right? So I think I'm getting this big amount. And then if that's the container that I eat out of, and I'm sitting in front of the TV watching TV, what could really happen is I finish that entire bag. And instead of mindfully, like Taylor said, maybe taking a portion out of the container and putting it into a bowl. You could count out what the serving says, like 20 chips. I always pick the biggest 20 chips.
Yes.
I'm not going for the little chips. I'm going for the biggest chips.
Or the broken ones either.
Yeah, throw those out.
Ones.
But you know what you can do is start buying the little individual bagged ones.
Yeah.
Just eat one bag. That's a smaller serving. That's probably the correct serving.
And it gives you the nutrition on the back, and you just have to look at that versus counting it out.
Right.
That's a good
That's
tip.
what I did. I bought this last time I went shopping. I bought the little bags.
I think
Me too. I'm buying the little bags.
yeah, the little bags can be a little more expensive when you're buying multiples. So sometimes those big bags look like they're less expensive. And so then I want to just make sure that I'm making smaller portions. So it's a great strategy to go small. If you're a container eater, try to be careful that your container is just not too big for the portion that you want to eat.
And practice saying no when offered tempting foods.
Yes, my friend Diane has to have a dessert after every meal. And she was like,
Yes.
have a dessert. I said, no.
I have a friend like that. She bakes all the time and she'd say, I'm going to bring you half of it. I'd be like, no, I have to give it to the grandkids.
Send her to me, Lisa.
Yeah, really.
Hey, excuse me. Can I say something really, really quick?
Yes, you can, Lashila.
I just had carpal tunnel surgery and I just got out of the hospital. So I think I'm gonna get off for here because I'm really, really sleepy and I'm tired.
Okay.
And I just want everybody to know. And I'm sorry I can't do the class today.
You have nothing to worry about. You take care of yourself.
God bless you.
You're all right.
Get well
Don't stress.
Thank you.
You take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Lashila.
Bye, Lashila.
Hey, Pam and Taylor, while we've got a second, is it okay if we get Rhonda so she can get us moving real quick?
Yes, I just thought.
Okay, sweet. Rhonda, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good. How's everybody tonight?
It's a good evening.
Good. Well, I'm filling in for Valerie again. She got stuck at a board meeting, so I get to do the fun stuff. She gets to do the serious stuff. But I thought we would do something a little more jazzed up today, if you're okay with that. I know everybody loved the yoga, and that's good too. But my very first love is Zumba. But did you know, I'm going to make you get up and dance around. Did you know that you can do it from a chair?
Wow.
And so we're going to do that tonight. Okay. So you can get down with your bad self in a chair anytime you want, but we're going to do it Latin style today. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So pull that same chair out that you usually do with the yoga with me. And I'll get the music started. Sometimes it's a little grainy. It's just kind of Zoom. I'm sorry, but we'll do the best that we can. Y'all ready to go?
Ready.
We'll do a little warm up first, and then we'll get right into the music.
Okay. No.
Nice job. We're all warmed up. Let's get into it.
I thought
We were into it.
We're warming up first.
Okay.
All right.
I thought that was it.
Hey, Rhonda. Oh, I don't think you can hear me.
Come on, Lavita.
I'm coming. I'm going too fast. Oh, folks.
Five.
Getting it all worked out?
Yeah, I better take a rest now, honey.
Look, you moving a little too
Yes. Yes, put it in the oven. Putting it here and putting everything. Okay. You just
All right.
wiggling and jiggling everywhere. Okay. Moving. Keep here this I'm not coordinated enough. Keep your car away.
Go get your ball.
Nice job. Working around in that chair all you can. Keep your belly button tight. Sit up tall. in your core. Very nice. You're almost there. We're almost done. I'm not letting nasty shoulders. We'll slow it down now with the bachata. We're gonna get more of these little arms going. Work your core, navel. Woo! Nice job. All right, take some deep breaths in. Exhale it out. Inhale up. And slow that heart rate down naturally. One more. Deep breath in. Fill your lungs completely. Exhale it down. Nice job. Let's do some shoulder rolls. Single shoulders alternating. You should be able to feel that in your obliques, your sides.
Oh.
You got big shoulders. All right, now I want you to grab the back of your chair real quick. Open your chest. You're gonna open those chest muscles up. Sit tall. Pull that belly button tight. Exhale forward just a little bit. Stretch out those arms. Your chest. Inhale up. All right, I want you to take that. It's my right. I think it might be your left. If it's switched. Grab a leg. Pull it up. Try to sit tall if you can. All right, extend it out. Ooh, stretch, stretch. Flex your foot. I know, it's tight. And lower it down. Switch legs. Pull that knee up. Sit tall. Flex. Push it out. Flex your foot. Bring it in and down. Sit tall. Deep breath in. Exhale. Let's bend forward about 45 degrees. Keep your chin above your heart. And then roll it up one vertebrae at a time. and pull an arm across. And let's switch. Nice job. Take one arm, see if you can touch that opposite shoulder. If not, whatever's most comfortable for you. If you want to get a deeper stretch, you can come above the elbow or below, just as long as you don't grab the elbow itself. There's lots of nerves running through there from your neck down to your fingers. Stretch it over. And then pull the other arm across. Got ahead of myself. And switch. Exhale that down. All right. Drop that ear over to your shoulder. Stretch your neck. Inhale up. And to the other side, exhale. Inhale up, chin to chest. And inhale, neutral head. Give yourself a hand. Fabulous job. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all made me work up a sweat. Look at you.
We did too. We worked on this.
Yay, yay. We're all in this together.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
I
you so
appreciate
much.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks. Y'all have a great evening.
You do the same. You do the same.
I will.
With that, I'd love to pass it back to Taylor and Pam. We got moving. We got a nice little movement this evening.
I will say that I picked a bad day to wear blue jeans.
Yeah, me too.
So was not expecting that, but it was good. I hope that you guys got some enjoyment out of that. I know it may have been, I don't know what your limitations and everything are, but hopefully you got some movement going, because I know I didn't pay attention to anybody else but her because I was moving too much. So we're going to go ahead and transition to this week's topic. So you can turn to page 82. And this week we are talking about eating out, restaurants, fast food, those sorts of things. I don't know if you guys already saw that.
Ooh.
How do you guys feel when well, I guess we're really not eating out too often nowadays, but I know it could seem, hopefully Pam and I tonight can help you feel more confident when you go to either takeout or whatever it is. And so you don't feel like bad or whatever stigmas are out there that say that eating out is a bad thing. We're going to give you some strategies. And I think Pam's going to go ahead and start us out.
Yes. All right, guys. On the first thing we're going to talk about is on page 82. It says eating out by the numbers. Would somebody like to read that first little paragraph? American households? Anybody?
American households spend more than 40% of their total food budget on foods prepared outside of the home, up from 25% in 1970. Because this marked increase occurs as obesity rates were rising, researchers and policymakers speculate that eating out leads to excessive caloric intake and poor diet quality.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marjorie. Okay, so if y'all are okay, show of hands, does anybody ever eat out? Let's say it's not a COVID time.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Do you feel like you eat out more often than you fix food at home?
No.
Anybody? Okay. Okay. So some of the statements here are not necessarily what I agree with by what I think is causing sometimes obesity. But would you say that when you eat out, you can get a lot of food and maybe more food that you would get than if you made it at home? Okay. So I think what we've been talking about this whole time is that when there's a lot of energy in the form of food coming into your body, and then there's not a lot of output by you being active, that's the way we can gain weight. So, you know, if somebody says, hey, I eat at home all the time and I still have a weight issue, that doesn't mean that you eat a lot of food at home and then there's just not that activity to balance it. Okay. But I think when we eat out, it's a lot easier to get those large portions, you know, and if it's, maybe I go to a fast food and it's like $2.99 and I get 6 burgers. That might be appealing to someone. Or all you can eat buffets. So let's be mindful that there are opportunities for us to overeat, whether it's outside at a restaurant or just even in your own home. Okay, next one. Who wants to read Although It Is Possible to Eat Healthy?
Here I will. Although it is possible to eat healthy away from home, studies have shown that the foods people select when they eat out generally have more calories, fat, and saturated fat than at-home meals and snacks.
Okay, thank you so much, Monica. And I'm going to just say, I believe now people eat out and make choices like, do I want to get a salad? You know, do I want to get something different that doesn't maybe have as many calories, doesn't have as much saturated fat? So I think some of this information might be a little, I'm going to say a little bit old versus what people maybe have access to today. Okay. Because I don't think just because people eat out, it's a bad thing to do. I think it's a choice you make. And I think you need to appreciate that if you eat out a lot and that causes your weight to be challenged by that behavior, you need to think about that behavior. Okay. If your goal is to have, you know, manageable weight, or in the event that we're talking all about weight loss, if eating out has caused you to gain weight, I don't think it looks like eating out is going to help you to lose weight. So just kind of think of those behaviors. Okay, and who wants to read the last one? Each additional meal?
Each additional meal or snack eaten away from home adds an average of 134 calories that day, compared with the same meals or snacks prepared at home. Holding all else constant, one additional meal away from home each week translates to roughly 2 extra pounds each year.
Really?
Yeah, so that's the kind of one I'm not real sure about the math on that one. I think it definitely, they've probably picked out on one particular thing and done some math with it. What I'd like you to take away from this page is that if we eat out away from home, it's likely that we're going to probably purchase maybe more calories than maybe we would if we were making the same foods at home. Taylor and I talked about this. You know, how many times at home did somebody, you know, overeat? Because I don't know how big your families were growing up, but we had 7 people in my family and we never had more food on our plates than we could finish.
We didn't either.
Yeah, you know, it's just not likely that there was so much extra food because mom was trying to make sure that everybody got at least a plate full. But when you eat out, you know, do you get a small serving or do you get a large portion?
Large.
Large.
So I think that's the biggest issue with eating out. You just want to be careful of your portions and then definitely the quality of the food so that you're going to get a variety of those nutrients.
Yeah,
Another thing.
Eat it for 2 days.
Yeah,
What was
that's
that,
right.
Eva?
Go ahead, Taylor.
What'd she say? What'd you say, Eva?
Sometimes the meals are so big you can eat them for 2 days.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and another important thing that, like Pam already hinted at, and I meant to say too, is physical activity is a really important thing to consider too, because think about it, when you're eating out, especially fast food, you could literally take 10 steps to get in your car and then you come, you know, you're not burning off as many calories as opposed to maybe back in the day when you had to actually prepare a meal. So that's something to consider too. And kind of like what we talked about last week about preparing a shopping list and shopping, those sorts of things, plan for those days when you want to eat out. It's definitely don't want to discourage you guys from eating out. We, like I said, we just want to, I guess, give those strategies, and you can go ahead and continue, Pam.
Okay. So again, I think on what Taylor said, if you, let's say somebody says they eat out 4 times a week, and we're just going to say dinner, because, you know, you might eat out some other meals. But what happens if you had 4 times a week you ate out your dinner? What would it look like if you decided to eat one of those meals at home? So instead of doing 4, I'm going to do 3. It's one meal. It would be interesting to see if that calorie difference was enough to tip your scale to where you could start to lose some weight. Because maybe when I'm at home, as Taylor alluded to, when I'm making that meal, how much more active am I? You know, I'm prepping the food, I'm stirring it, I'm doing whatever, I'm washing the dishes, maybe by hand. All of those things are going to burn calories versus I sat down at the restaurant and ate the food and they took the plates away and I didn't do anything but pay the bill. or I drove through the drive-in and I got the food, brought it home, ate it out of the bag, didn't have any dishes, threw it all the way in the trash when I was done. And then what did I do? Go find the couch, turn on the TV, and I am good. So there you go. Let's go, Cecilia. Come on. If we would dance after dinner, that would be awesome. We'd be burning those calories. So I'm all for that. But you just have to realize, what is your behavior? When you go out to eat, not a lot of activity except eating the food. When I'm at home, there's more activity around actually making the food, cleaning it up, and those calories are going to balance what you're eating. So just kind of think about that. Okay, Taylor, back to you.
All right, are we going to jump over to page 84?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so this is an interesting one. This is called Hara-Hachi-Bu, and essentially what it is it's a philosophy or practice that they do in Japan, Okinawa. And so it's just think of it as some strategies. I'm going to keep on using that word tonight because I want you guys to have a plan more than anything when you are thinking of what you're going to eat, where you're going to eat out, because realistically we're going to do it, but we need to have a plan. And so you'll see a statement that has a couple of blanks. So if you have a pen or pencil, we're going to go ahead and fill those in. And so it states that you're supposed to eat until you are 80% full and then stopping. And so it's this whole method of, and I know we talked about it, maybe not last week, but a few weeks ago, of taking your time to eat. Does anybody remember on average how long it takes for our brain, our stomach and brain to connect and, say, hey, you're full? Does anybody know that time?
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
20 minutes. So you can write that down again. If you forgot that, you can write it on the side wherever, and just keep that in mind. And that's when it's important to make sure, 20 minutes seems like a long time, but especially if you're eating out or anything like that, then you're hopefully, eating out with someone, conversing, taking your time to eat, not distracted by a phone, hopefully not a TV, but then again, there's a lot of restaurants that have TVs in them nowadays. So there are some other techniques that you see on this page. You'll see a list. I think there's about 5 they give you. And so, honestly, Pam and I were kind of reading through these and we thought some of them were good, but some of them were just kind of a little different. I mean, you can try it, see if it works for you, but I'm not going to knock it. I just don't personally do all of these. So one is brush your teeth. I'm not exactly sure, you could do that if that's going to help you, I guess, slow down, maybe stop eating. You feel like, okay, I'm finally full, but I'm scared I'm going to overeat or worried I'm going to overeat. Go brush your teeth. Chew gum. Try chewing gum. The third one, remember how miserable you felt the last time you overate. I don't know if that's motivation enough. 4 is step away from the plate, which is a really good one. I like to do that. Maybe I know we're talking about eating out at restaurants, but just kind of removing it away from you. And that gives it the 5th one is put your fork down and cover it with your plate with a napkin, which, kind of a different one. I've never heard of that, but that's a strategy that you could try using. If you're eating out, I think it's on another page too, but one that I always talk about, I like to do is what Pam said, when we eat out, how much food do you usually get? You get quite a bit, don't you? And when you sit there and look at it, you're like, oh, you're so hungry. You're like, that looks so good. I'm going to eat it all. And sometimes you do, and then you feel sick. So a good strategy that I like to do is, if you're sitting down at a table, you can ask the waiter or a waitress for a to-go box and to divide half of it up as soon as you get your food and put it in that box and save it for lunch the next day or dinner the next night or whatever. I like that one a lot because it gives you time to really think about, okay, do I want to eat the rest of this instead of just shoveling it all down? So that's a good one.
That's a good
glass of water. Yep, that's a good one. Drink a glass of water before you get your meal.
Yeah.
And finish chewing your bite and swallowing it before you put the next scoop of food in your mouth. I don't know if you guys have any other strategies. Maybe you can think about it next week, share them with everybody, or if you have one right now, feel free to.
Use a smaller plate.
Smaller plate. That's a really good one for at home. I know they say, what was it? Back in the 60s, the plate sizes used to be 8 inches, 6 inches. they used to be really small. And that's one thing that has really grown is our plates. Our plates are 10, 12 inches now. And if you've ever put food on like an 8-inch plate even versus a 12-inch or 12-inch plate, it's a lot bigger on a smaller plate. But when you put on a big plate, you're like, yeah, that's nothing. I'm going to keep on shoving on there. That's a really good trick. I like that one.
And I think along with the plate size is if you go to a buffet, usually your salad plate is little and the entree plate is big. Switch them. Use the big plate for your salad.
I like that.
And then use the big plate for your, and then switch and use the small plate that was for your salad. Make that for your entree. So you won't get as much maybe of the entree, but then we're going to, encourage getting more of the salads or the vegetables, which is kind of our strategy, right? To get those superfoods to help me with I'm feeling full, but I didn't get as many calories in.
Right.
Another one is if you do get a salad, how many of you get the dressing on the side? Anybody ever do that? Okay. So again, it doesn't mean you shouldn't have dressing, and please don't get fat-free dressing. Get some fat in the dressing, get regular ranch. Just don't have a whole bottle of ranch at one time, right? Okay. And if you get it on the side, then you can take a bite of that lettuce or the salad and put it into your dressing and enjoy the flavor without it drowning it. Okay, so those are kind of two that I was going to share.
Okay, for the next thing, we're going to do an activity, and it will require you using your brain. And so we're going to think about for a second the foods. We've been calling them superfoods, but I'm going to try to start using the word fiber-rich foods because I like that more, because what we're really trying to focus on, what types of foods we're trying to focus on are those that have more fiber in them. And so we're going to do a little activity. It's going to take like 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And so what we're going to do is, you guys see these 4 menus on page 85? Okay, so the next 4 pages, we're only going to pick one menu. So you guys look at those menus really quick. And the first one I hear, we're going to flip to that page and we're going to look at that menu.
Mexican.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do Mexican. All right, so just one page over, 87. Okay, so before I tell you what you're going to do, we're going to review, let's call them the five food groups, I guess you can call them, that are rich in fiber. So can you guys think of the 5 food groups that we've talked about over these last 7 sessions that are rich naturally in fiber?
Rich in fiber, 5.
Beans. So legumes, beans, peas, and lentils. Okay, that's 1.
Potato.
What was that?
Potato.
Vegetables.
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 Yeah. So we're talking about general food groups.
Okay.
Fruit.
In
2 more.
Grains.
Whole grains. Good job. And the other one, it's kind of its own groups. It's seeds and nuts.
Okay.
And remember that fruit, vegetables, a lot of water and naturally, think of all this right. Yeah. So what we're going to do over the next, I'll give you 3 minutes. So this is just to get you to think fiber. If you have the fiber guide, you may find it useful, but I think you guys are pretty confident in being able to identify those foods. So what you're going to do, I have a little timer, and it's not a race. I just want you to get you thinking. So if you're at a restaurant, what are you going to look for on the menu? Look for those foods that are going to have more of that fiber in it. So I'm going to start a timer, and for the next 3 minutes, just go through, and you see a plate on the right side, jot down those foods fall within those 5 food groups. They're going to be specific names for them.
The ones off the menu. The ones off the menu.
The ones off the menu. So tomato, right? It's going to have that fiber in there. So the specific foods or the specific ingredients, not the whole entree.
Oh, okay. It's specific.
Yeah. I want you guys to really think.
whole wheat for the tortilla.
You could also circle or underline, whatever's easiest for you. I guess that's your decision.
They know I'm a log out.
Okay, about another minute. Okay, my timer went off. So, did you guys hopefully get some foods down that they want?
Yeah.
Some things that stuck out to you? I'd like to share a few of them.
Guacamole, tomatoes, spinach, or actually avocado. But everything in guacamole is good, right? Except the corn tortillas. Zucchini and yellow squash.
Yep.
The black beans. The whole bean. They call them whole beans, but I'm sure they're pinto beans. Not the refried beans, though, right? Does it have a lot of fat in them?
A little one. Pam's like, not bad. I did see that too. I felt like it could be.
Can't you get low-fat refried beans?
Not at a Mexican restaurant.
Well, no, yeah, true.
At home, you can't.
What makes them refried beans? If they would start it out as whole beans, we'll make them refried.
They add lard to them.
Oh.
And
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you guys felt as you started looking at that menu and you were thinking about the 5 food groups that you were starting to get the hang of it, or did you feel like lost?
No, we could get the hang of it because it makes you think about what you can order.
But I'm done at the chip and dip. I'll be full of the chip and dip.
Right? Especially at Ted's. Ted's, you could just literally get the chips and queso and tortillas and done.
Right, I'm done.
Yeah, a la carte maybe because you feel bad because you're like, I gotta buy something.
Exactly. Just get a setup. The chips and dip.
Well, and Taylor,
maybe a margarita if it's a good day.
I kind of figured every time I saw veggie in the description, I figured that was a good one to go with just because it should have the things that I was looking for. So with veggie quesadilla, the veggie fajitas, I feel like it wasn't just exclusively vegetables, but I knew that was going to be included.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully with that activity, it started, sorry, my dog's barking. It started making you kind of think about it when you are eating out, at least trying to get some of those fiber-rich foods incorporated into it instead of just fried or fine grains, whatever it is. And you guys, if you feel free, you want to practice a little bit more, there's 3 other menus you could go through and jot down those foods that you feel within that fall within that category. Okay, let's flip over to page 94. Okay, and you'll see what about your favorite restaurant. So there's this question they posed about how likely are you to find a good variety of full plate superfoods, fiber-rich foods, you can put under that, at your favorite restaurant and your confidence level. So you can kind of do that if you want to think about that yourself. And I like these tips. Pam and I talked about these, and I know I don't know if we have any other to share, but these are some other strategies, some tips that for the sake of time, go ahead and read through that in your own time. So put a star, homework, whatever, and read through those, okay? Like if you guys can get to that, maybe begin the next week kind of going through some of those, the final week. Okay, and then Pam, I think she's going to talk a little bit about page 95, and then we're going to do the moving forward.
Okay, I think I'm on. Okay. You know, we're here on this weight loss journey, and I think the biggest part that we want to try to do is after we've started losing weight, we want to keep it off. Anybody want to get it back on?
No.
No. So if you're going to keep the weight off, we want to keep some of these principles that we've been talking about in our mind, you know, forefront. Whoops. Taylor mentioned mindfulness. Has anybody ever talked to you about that, about eating, mindful eating?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard that?
Yes.
Yeah. So no distractions. I think the big thing that we have a tendency to do is multitask with food. You know, we eat in front of the TV, we eat in front of a computer. I eat when I'm reading. Lord knows I could have some, you know, veggies when I do that. But so try not to multitask around food. It would be lovely for you to be able to sit down, have all your senses focused, think about what I'm smelling, what I'm seeing. You know, how many times do you eat with your eyes, right? Taylor mentioned my eyes are so big, I'm thinking I can eat the whole plate. But just be so mindful that you could describe your meal to somebody and they would be in the next room and they could know exactly what you're eating. How focused would that be? You know, versus, oh, I don't know, I had a burrito. Well, what was in it? I don't know, what's ever in a burrito. You know, so think about, you know, did something have an amazing taste? Did it have a texture that you really liked? How many people don't like to eat foods because of the texture? Meat and okra do not go well. It's too slick for me. Now fried, probably, right? But the thought of being so mindful about what you're eating that nothing else is in your consciousness right there, boy, I have a hard time doing that. So just really think about that. So as well as keeping other strategies, keeping a healthy distance, safe havens. Okay, again, we talked about this. How do you keep your house where it doesn't have foods every time you turn around that you want, or your workspace? Just think of that, how you're going to continue that. Creating a new lifestyle, stress. How many times do we have stress that triggers behaviors? We get really good at what we want to do, and then what happens when the stress hits again?
We grab the food.
We go back to it, right? And that's just a really hard one to overcome. So just continue to practice really good stress management, okay? Get some activities on board. Maybe like we were talking about, go take a walk. Zumba in your chair. Now we know y'all can just boogie all the time in your chair. So, you know, no excuses that we can't maybe break some of that up. Check your thinking. Always, we have those positive messages, right? Did I lose 8 pounds like I wanted to? No, but did I lose 2? I'm on the right track. Okay.
On the right.
And then helping someone else lose weight. I want you to be careful about that one. Losing weight is a very personal decision and a personal journey. You can walk alongside with somebody and encourage them, but you're not in charge of their weight loss. Amen to that?
Amen.
Okay. We can have encouragement from people and we can have understanding from people, but at the end of the day, it is your decision on what you want to do. And please don't kind of blame somebody else. Well, you know, she took me out for ice cream. Hey, girlfriend, I can't go for ice cream. I'll go with you and we'll chat and visit, but I'm not going to have ice cream because that's one thing I'm trying to work on. I'm not saying it's bad food, but that was just an example. Okay. So try to be really understanding where your challenge is. Like Taylor was mentioning in the very beginning of tonight, get those challenge foods and move them out of the way. So they're not going to keep you with an obstacle. But then also remember, it's not somebody else's decision for you. It is your decision. So please, take ownership of that and make sure that you've got the ability to do what you want to do. If you need help on those pieces, then let's get some help. But ultimately, it's not somebody else telling you what to do. You got to have those conversations about what you're in charge of. Amen?
Amen.
Can I get a witness?
You got a witness.
All right, there we go. Okay, Taylor, back to you.
Okay, so you'll notice that there's a couple of pages in between what we just went over and the moving forward. Moving forward is page 100. Pam and I really talked about these couple pages in between, and something if you want to look over, but we're not necessarily, I don't know if Pam, wants to chime in, but it's kind of one of those things that if you want to look over it, we're not necessarily going to promote it, going over it right now, but we're going to go ahead and move on to the moving forward. So we've come back to creating more goals for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys think it's been going with the moving forwards? Have any of you guys really ever been looking at them or?
Been scanning them.
Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and do this again. And this week we've got one about
getting a menu for my favorite restaurant.
Yeah, I'll get a menu from my favorite restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So and count up that's a good one. I like that. So think of where your favorite place to take out is.
Olive Gardens.
Just about any menus online now. So you just.
What page are you on? I'm sorry.
100.
Yes, I'm sorry. Page 100. It's the moving forward.
Thanks.
So yeah, the first one is restaurant you really enjoy takeout or going to get. Look it up online on your phone because I'm sure you can find it somewhere or on your computer, whatever. And really look at those foods and how, like we just did with that other menu, the Mexican menu. And that's a good one. I like that. So the second one is, or step B is, I'll practice Hara-Hachi-Bu. Those are just the strategies. I'll have to follow all those for blank meals this week. If you can think of other strategies that we've talked about tonight, or that we've talked about tonight, that's a good time. Something to focus in on. You don't have to practice all of them. Just try different strategies. See what works for you. Maybe brushing your teeth doesn't work for you. Like I don't do that, but I like to divide my meals if I'm eating out, if it's a big portion. That's something that works for me.
Me too. Yeah.
The first time, you may be discouraged and say, that didn't work for me. I'm not going to do any other ones. Try different ones because you're never going to know unless you try it. And then step C, I keep wanting to say step 3 because it sounds weird to have A, B, and C. Who does that? I'm going to create my own step. If you feel like there's something else we've talked about, something small, doesn't have to be significant, that we talked about tonight, write that down. And I want you guys to look at this in a couple of days, like 2 days, Thursday evening when you get home, look at this and see, have I done any yet? Oh, I wanted to try that. Did I look at a menu yet? And then do it Sunday evening. Gonna check in with yourself. Okay, any questions for Pam and I? think Pam's gonna share something really quick.
Yeah. Okay, ladies, if you've ever seen this book, anybody?
Habit.
Okay, it's called Calorie King. It has carbohydrates, fat, and calorie counts for a lot of restaurants. It's got it for just general foods as well. So the beginning of the book has a bunch of just individual foods that you might get at a grocery store. But then the last section, it's probably about see the red part? I don't know if you can tell, but right there, that whole section there are going to be restaurants or fast food. So I want, I'm sorry, not I, Taylor and I and Anthony wanted you guys to, there's 2 people that are going to get this as a door prize. And maybe if we figure that's something that everybody could benefit from, we'll see what we can do about getting everybody a copy. But at least we're going to start off with 2. And tomorrow the winners will pick them up when you get your recipes. Is that right, Anthony?
Yes, ma'am. And I've got those names.
Okay. Oh, perfect. So take it away, Anthony.
So the 2 winners of this lovely book, number 1, we've got Miss Monica. Monica, are you on Miss Monica Muro? And then Tiara Winston.
Oh, yay.
So we'll get those in your hands. In addition to that, we were talking before the class, and we don't exactly have this pinned down perfectly yet. But in our last bit that we have with you, I really wanted to allow this be a piece of a short conversation. One thing that this program does is we have the ability to get a virtual health membership of some sort for everyone for a few months. And so I know some people like Zumba dancing type stuff. Some people like a fitness course where there's somebody on the screen doing things. I kind of wanted to hear what you guys thought. So if maybe some of you have thoughts, the big thing is I don't want to get a resource that you're not going to use. So I really wanted to hear some feedback. There are some really good examples of programs online where you go and you just watch the person do the workout and you mock them. But I want to get something that fits you. I don't want to get something that's intimidating or that makes you feel like out of your element. So if anybody had any feedback, what's something that you think you would use, whether it costs or isn't? I just want to make sure that I can connect you with those resources, especially as we think about going forward past our 12 weeks. I want to connect you with that. So if there is a paid resource that you guys think will be good, I've got some resources to make that happen. But what do you guys think? What are some things that you think you would use in your free time as far as a membership, a virtual membership?
everyone.
Oh, Eva, are you there?
Yes. I would not use a virtual membership because I exercise on YouTube. I do chair exercises on YouTube.
Okay.
And there are all kinds of chair exercises. You can do chair exercises or standing exercises or whatever you want to do.
No, that's good.
But I do.
Well, thank you.
So-
Thank you for the insight. No, that's helpful. Yeah, that's helpful. And that's the thing is what we do get, it may work really well for one of. Oh, did I cut you off, Eva? My apologies.
Walking exercises. All kinds on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of folks who use YouTube for a resource in that case. And I know it's going to be tough to find something that suits everyone's needs. But before we made a decision on what we are going to get, I really wanted to just hear. So, Eva, thank you for that. Does anybody else have any thoughts? And so, at the very least, we want to connect you with some resources, right? At the end of the day, I just want to make sure that a resource isn't purchased or that we get that isn't utilized. So if you have any thoughts, maybe shoot me a text or an email offline. But I'd love to make sure that I'm connecting you with the resources that long-term you're going to be able to use. So that being said, Pam, Taylor, do you guys have anything else?
Good. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. What time are you going to be where tomorrow?
3:00.
Where at, Miss Hammond?
3.
Before 3:00 at Metro Tech.
At Metro Tech. You guys have a good evening. Good class.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.